Hey YouTube, this is Uncle Momo's, and today, apologies, I wanted to talk about Ukraine. The other day I was onto a channel and I saw this Asian guy, and in big letters in his title it says, "Why I support Russia." And I thought, okay, this is my one video. Why I support Ukraine. And I thought I was going to do a live stream on this. So to let everybody who have supported me that's with love, with clarity, educating me, just been so much kindness on my channel. And I just wanted to sort of like, I haven't really expressed myself on how I really, truly feel about this unfortunate events, the Ukrainian war. And I've got a problem in saying war, because for me, war is when two countries are fighting each other. Invasion is when a country comes over to another country to invade. So this is an invasion, not a war. I don't see yourself protecting yourself as a war. I see that this is an invasion that you're protecting yourself from. You've got your house, someone's trying to kick down your door. That's an invasion. You know, if you're outside in middle common ground and you're fighting, then fine. That's war. It'd be war if Ukraine target bombs and rockets at Russia. Since this war to 24th of February, correct me if I'm wrong, but all Ukraine has been doing is stopping the rockets and bombs entering into Ukraine. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. They have not once sent a rocket, sent soldiers or tanks or whatever over to Russia and bombed up their cities. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's what I'll call a war. I'll call a war if Ukraine said, right, you just bombed my city. You bombed 4 or 5 of my cities. No. I'm going to come over there and bomb your cities. That's war. Yeah? This is an invasion. Ukraine hasn't done that. Haven't, sent rockets over to Russia. Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. So because of that, it's like, it sticks out. An invasion will always stick out, no matter who's invading what, it will always stick out. And Putin is sticking out. You're sticking out around the whole wide world. And I've watched a number of documentaries on professors, on scholars, on, high figure authority people that have their comments on Ukraine and what the current situation is and how, I condemn it, but, all that kind of stuff. And this is what I think. And I'm thinking, well, okay, you're just an outside looking in. Just like myself, I'm an outside looking in. You cannot try and say, this is what the Ukrainian people are thinking. This is what should be done, blah, blah. Or you can say, you can have an idea what this should be done, blah, blah, blah. But all I'm doing right now is give you my personal feeling on this. Now, when I started my YouTube channel, I reacted to music around the world. And everybody knows that the country that was showing me humongous amount of love, both artists and subscribers, is Ukraine. And it was lovely, man. You know how scary it is to start your own YouTube channel? And Ukraine supported me from day one. Day one. Yeah? And it's always been that. And I can't, I think I've been doing my reactions for now at least 18 months now. And every day, or give or take a couple of days, every day for that whole 18 months, I have uploaded artists from Ukraine and supporting. There's a humongous amount of artists covered, and I still haven't covered the all of the genre styles that's coming on from Ukraine. And I've got overwhelming amount of people saying, look, come over to Ukraine. I've got the Habakub saying, look, I'm gonna, come over when you come over. Come to my next concert. I've got loads of different kind of artists spaced out, welcome me to come over. And I was in a place of loveliness. And then the fortunate of, and then, you know, I was reacting to all music around the world, including Russia. I didn't get, and there were some artists from Russia that would come back to me and say, oh, thank you very much. But none of the Russian subscribers, I don't even know if I got Russian subscribers, to be fair. But I was solely on the heart of music. And I didn't even know about this conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Like majority of people outside Ukraine, they don't really know. Especially of the younger youths, they don't really know. And then, like I said, the fortunate events happened. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And I understand the point of what happened was, going back, is when the Soviet Union, the USSR was broken down, one of the agreements was that he will break the USSR only on the condition that NATO and the UN will not spread their membership anywhere over to the east side of their country. Because, you know, America and Russia have always been going at it. It's the Cold War, blah, 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 blah. You know that in, I think in 1980s, 84, 86 or something like that, I can't remember off the top of my head, when Russia tried to put military weapons, massive destruction, in Cuba, and I think it was Havana as well, I'm not too sure, but Cuba, which is basically on the doorstep of America. And America did not like that at all. So America just went over there and bombed it all up and told Russia, look, move. That's not happening. And Russia put their tails between their legs and they went back. So Russia's now feeling that, wait a minute, you've gone back on your word, UN and NATO. You're expanding. I do not want my weapons to be so close to my doorstep. I don't want it. Okay, fine. So his idea is, because I don't want it, I'm going to bomb up Ukraine. I don't want you to join the EU. I'm going to bomb up Ukraine. What a childish thing to do. You don't own the country, bro. You don't own it. Everybody has a right. Even the single individuals that are living in Ukraine has a right. And this is what you're just taking everybody's right away. You're taking people's rights away. Now, there's people in Russia that doesn't agree with Ukraine. I watched this documentary the other day where this guy, he had just him and he invited people to come to this area in Russia. And he found that he was the only one and he was with a tannoy and all that stuff. And he was done and it made the news. The next day, the Russian police kicked down his door and you saw it. They recorded it. The Russian people kicked down his door, beat him up, raped him, and they threatened to rape his wife and say, you know, you better shut up. So this is the things that Russian people are faced with. I'm not saying that happens to every Russian people. Certain Russian people know their place. You know, certain Russian people are agreeing with what's going on. And certain Russian people are just damn well scared. And they'll shut their mouth and put their head down and live on. Because they know that if they say any word, they know, you know, they can disappear. They can get disappeared just like that. So he's ruling with an iron rod. You know, an old man ruling with an iron rod. Can you imagine an old man come up to you on the streets and say, rah, 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 you know, come on. And this is what's strange to me. All around the world, you know, you've got these hierarchies that run the country, old people, and they're sending young people to fight their own disagreements. Thinking that, was there a poll to go to the Russian people and say, well, what do you think about this? Or you know, a proper discussion. Every country has the right to do whatever the country wants to better that country. So if Ukraine wants to join NATO, Ukraine wants to join the EU, Ukraine wants to do, they have every right to. It's a growing, established country. I mean, a growing country that wants to be established with the rest of the world. It has every right to be. What country, what person has the right to swallow another country up? Because and make it its slave. I don't agree with it. Not in this time and day and age. Yes, there's history. Yes. But with history, the word history, it sells itself. History is past. Leave it in the past. Yeah? I can say with history about slavery. I can jump up and down about slavery. But slavery's in the past. I've got my life full to live. I understand about the slavery. And I will never forget about the slavery. Just like the Ukrainians will never forget about the longevity of this conflict between the two countries, spanning back to 400 or more years. I think it could be even more, to be fair. 1,400 years, I think. And always, always, always. Give it up now. We are evolving. We've put man on the moon. We've put satellites going to Mars. We've got the Hubble station and I think the Hubble station and loads of satellites that's doing amazing things. We are looking for the future, and as a planet, for us to discover the future and go on beyond our natural human race desires, we've got to make sure that we all fit as a planet. This guy Putin is saying that, look, if he doesn't get what he wants, he's going to nuke everybody. What? It's almost laughable, but not laughable, because he's damn right, he's damn serious. He doesn't mind killing more and more children, women, men, loved ones, hospitals, schools, all those things, that power station, all these things that you need to cut off a country. What are you doing? Is that a blackmail? I'm gonna take out your hospitals. I'm gonna take out your schools. I'm gonna take out your powers. I'm gonna take out your natural resources. I'm gonna take out your food until you have nothing. And then you see that you ain't gonna take this this deal with you with NATO or EU. You're not gonna take no deal, because I don't want you to have that deal. You're not gonna have that deal. Can you hear those words? That's all just evil. It's not protecting Russia. Who has invaded Russia? Who has invaded Russia? When was it? When was last time Russia had an invasion? Who's invaded America? Who's invaded Italy? These things, 1942, the First World War, I believe, following on to 1944 or 1947. That's the kind of the last war. It's just amazing that we have not evolved or learned from the amount of mass killing that happens. And I think one of the main things that I have a massive problem about this is that it's always the civilians that get hurt. It's always the civilians that die. It's never the top hierarchies. Oh, okay, some of the top hierarchies in Russia just died and all that stuff. But I'm talking about the ones that can stop this. It's always the children that gets hurt. It's always the children that's getting... How can they... You've just made children in Ukraine thicker skinned. You really have. And I've got a big problem with people harming children. I've got a big problem of people creating and designing things of death. If you make a gun, you've got to use it. Or the gun maker is going to be surely angry with you. Why would you want to design something that can wipe out people, innocent people? Because it's done is, in cities. There weren't armies in cities. There wasn't somebody pointing a rocket in any of the Ukrainian cities to a Russian city. No. This is a mass. And you know what's really grinding my grills is that the whole world is watching. Yeah, they're doing these indie bits. I don't understand this. Ukraine needs help. Ukraine wants to join the EU and NATO. But NATO and EU are saying, no, not quite yet because of this conflict that you're going through. But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you some food. I'm going to send you some military defense. I'm going to help you with your satellites. I'm going to give you some weapons. You know, I'll do that. Until the war's over, then you can join. What are you talking about? Surely you joined to stop this incident from happening. Surely. Now I'm hearing rumors that Putin wants to... He's regretting breaking down the USSR. And I think he's now trying to bring it back again. There's issues about his health. They're saying that he's got cancer or blah, blah. And this is the reason why he's doing it, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter about, you know, he's doing it. Doesn't, you know, for me, it was always on the cards. And I think the Ukrainians knew that. And all he needed was an excuse. Now, I'm not going to be here, Shane, telling you that, oh, I know this and I know that. I'm only telling you from my personal perspective, how I feel about this situation personally, from watching at the start the news, then the news sort of like dwelled and reduced in the UK. It's still there, but it's just still winning. It's not as upfront as it was in the beginning. And what's up front now is the musicians' news, you know, the artists' news, the artists are singing their song, the artists are showing their visuals, the artists are showing their humanitarian side, showing their pain. And that's what's like driving me like, ah, like, and I know how you guys must feel, but from outside looking in, it's like, ah. Like I said, I don't like watching death. I don't like horrors, film horrors. I don't watch horror films. I don't like, I'm on the borderline of reacting to Ukrainian music where there is weapons of mass destruction showing you. You know, I'll react to military songs if there's a military person there and he's showing you, you know, the effects of what's happening. But when it comes to like shooting rockets and tanks and that stuff, that's my own personal things. And I know, you know, it needs to boost morale. I understand that. But for me, I don't know. I just go, oh, you know. I'm sure you guys feel the same. When I'm hearing the bangs and when I see certain videos that's happening over Ukraine, a child is jumping up, a child is hiding underneath a chair. There's no one in Russia doing that, hiding underneath chairs and, you know, those kind of things. It's horrible when you can't sit down at a table to discuss. Regardless if you say no for ages and all that business, but it's horrible. You know, I would expect for the whole planet, or the top hierarchies to come together, sit down at the table, demand Putin to come and sit at the table as well, where you can see the whole world sitting down, like the GN conventions, when they're talking about the ozone layer and how we're going to reduce that and, you know, all that kind of elements. Why isn't there some emergency thing like that where, you know, England and America and Germany and Poland and Italy and Sweden and Switzerland and, you know, and China and Japan, you know, all these, Australia, all these large countries where they come together, sit Putin down and say, wait, no, one more rocket, just one more, and you see what's going to happen. Yeah, we're going to do that to you and see if you like being invaded. Yeah, we're going to kill your children. We're going to take your children. This is the one that just got me. They're taking children. So they you know, they conquered a village or whatever you want to call it word, right? Overpowered a village, yeah? Kill the men, maybe the women as well. Take the children back to Russia to adopt them. And I believe that they've done this before and they still can't find the children that they've taken. And when they've done this before. So they're doing this right now. Yeah? I don't know what these children... Oh, man. Just on that level, Just on that frigging level right there. And as you're saying, I'm not, you see, I'm not here condemning Russian people. I'm condemning war. I'm condemning the art of war. I'm condemning killing. I'm condemning using these weapons. I'm condemning the way how Russia's gone about this. Yeah? That's what I'm condemning. I don't know the Russian people like the way how the Ukrainians know the Russian people. I know I know the effect of what's happened when I reacted to, when I said my first thing about me supporting Ukraine. Yeah, I got abused by Russian people. They said so many different kind of words to me. It's unreal. But that's not all of Russia. Just like I explained to you before, there's people in Russia that, overwhelming amount of people in Russia that agree. There's overwhelming amount of people in Russia that are scared to talk because they see the neighbor's dog getting kicked down. They see people getting beaten up and raped. And that's the men. I'm not talking about the women getting raped. They're raping the men and sticking the truncheons and all that kind of stuff. You know, all that. Yeah. So you're quieting down anybody that's ready to speak up already. So them in themselves, they're imprisoned. But at the same time, that's how I felt until Putin said, right, I'm calling up 300,000 people, civilians, to join the army, and you ain't got no choice. Yeah? Well, that's when Russians stepped up. Hell no! I'm kicking out. To the point now, to get a plane and go out of the country, it's like, I think it's about to say $8,000 now. $8,000 to come out of the country. They're going to all sorts of borders, and certain borders say, nah, you go back. We don't want you coming into our country. I think Sweden and Switzerland, they're taking them in, and small other countries like that, they're taking the Russian civilians in. But it's like, yeah, but them civilians, I agree, I agree or don't agree with a war as long as I'm not involved in it. Those are those people. And as soon as they say, yeah, you're involved in it, it's like, kick out. No way am I being in this. And it was a case of, are they saying no because they're seeing that the defense, they're seeing in the reporting, hearing it from whatever source that they're hearing it from, that Ukraine are actually pushing back and more regarding in their country, like the armies that are going into Ukraine, they're getting a quick death, and they're seeing it in overwhelming amounts. So is it a case of, I'm not going to participate in this because I don't want to die? Or is it a case of, I don't want to participate in this because I don't agree with this war? Now, I feel that is, I don't want to participate. I think it's majority of, I don't want to participate in this because I don't want to die. Because if it was the other way, because I don't agree with this war, surely there will be more of a massive march. But there's this divide and conquer that's happening in Russia. I'm not saying that Putin's got the Russians people, but butter balls, and that everybody's scared of him, like he's some kind of a dictator. Because I don't believe that's true. There's a lot of people in Russia that actually love him, and in citizens that love him. That's why the Ukrainians sent me a message when I said, there is people in there that disagree with this war. And I was educated, saying, well, at least, Uncle Momo, at least 80 to 90% of the people in Ukraine supports this war. I was like, really? Wow. I was dumbstruck. I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. How? Why? What is the threat to you in Ukraine joining the EU and NATO? What is the threat to you? The only threat that I can see is that you won't be able to invade anymore because the rest of the country will be on your ass. So it's more of a protection. I don't see, Ukraine, as soon as they join the EU or NATO, saying, right, okay, let's attack Russia. No, they're not of that caliber. They want to prosper within Ukraine. They're proud people. They just want to make Ukraine great. They want the world to know Ukraine. They want people to come and visit, tourist attraction and everything else that every other country's got. Why can't Ukraine have it as well? It's a beautiful country. Massive country. I didn't even know how big it was until last year. I was like, what? And the different landscapes and everything else. It's beautiful. And the whole world needs to see how beautiful the country is. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, Russia could be beautiful. I've never been there. I haven't seen too much of Russia. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about Russia. I don't know about the country. All I see, the only thing that I know about Russia in my lifetime is the conflicts that they always have with America. That's all I know. That's all I know. Nothing else. And during this, you know, this conflict, I don't really want to. I should intriguingly find out more about Russia, just to know about Russia. But because all the abuse that I've got from liking Ukrainian songs and making a couple of statements that I don't like war and I don't like people killing people. I haven't directed shots at Russia. I haven't. Directly. Or the people of Russia or the artists of Russia. You know, no. I'm not that shallow to do so. But I will put my finger at Putin. Done. I will put my finger at Putin. Yes, he doesn't agree with whatever, but there's many ways to swing a cat. You did not have to use your last resort as the first option. Because that's what you did. To send a message, to scare, to frighten people into submitting into what you want. What's best for your country. Not best for Ukraine, but best for your country. What's best for Ukraine is to get somebody that can to get an army of support. What's best for Ukraine right now to stop Russia invading is to join the EU and NATO. Because that is the only time when Russia's going to stop. That's the only time when Russia's not going to use any feeble excuse to invade again. Regardless of what reason why he needs it and all that, that's going to be, you know, there's many, you know, that's the media news, you know, what reason why he wants it. We never know the reason why he will actually want it. That's never going to be in the public eye, you know. What's going to be in the media's eyes is something that's sustainable reason of why he is doing this. And when you listen to that reason, it don't make freaking sense. Because like I said, when's the last time Russia been invaded? Have Russia been invaded? When's the last time Russia has actually been in war? Exactly. When has somebody invaded Russia like, I'm going to get you, Russia? When does that happen? So war is the threat. In this day and age, I can understand about 30, 40 years ago when the mindset of men was all about industry, constructions, flying to the moon, and no one better not touch my country. Because every country was developing weapons. Because there was this kind of, I've got to protect my country, develop, you know. And obviously the two countries that outshined is Russia and America. I think it's the idea, the thing is that, as you know, NATO has the largest army in Europe. It's bigger than Russia's. NATO has better firepower than Russia. One thing that I believe NATO don't have is nuclear armorware. Russia has that. As well as, you know, as old as those weapons may be, it still does the job. And even just lets off just one of those rockets, even if it was destroyed in mid-air, it will still have this radiation value that will destroy countries. And the thing about radiation and all this thing is that you can aim for one country. If the wind blows, it's going to hit somewhere else. It will move on to somewhere else. Other people do get affected. You've seen it already from the bombs that America let off in Thailand and places like that. You see that. Why do we, you know, and we've learned from that. We've seen that and we saw that was absolutely disgusting, you know. And the people that survived that, they got all deformities and all that kind of stuff. Why would you want to let that off on the world? And I can surely tell you right back now, mate, If you let off one of those rockets, those nuclear bombs, you'd be dead in a second. And I'll tell you that straight. You'll be dead in a second. You become public enemy number one, and there'll be many countries that will try and take you out. Yeah? And they're the Humeritan people. Those are the people that will not try and take out Russia and involve the civilians, the women, the children, the men. They'll go for you. One man. Now, can you imagine if countries like America and England and all these places had the same thought process as Putin and he done that? There'd be rockets smashing out Russia, not caring about the children and the women, and just destroying it. There'd be whole loads of people dying, innocent people dying. People that don't deserve to die if they had the same mindset as Putin. If the Ukraine president had the same mindset of Putin, Ukraine will be invading. It will be a war. What the president of Ukraine is doing is saying, please, rest of the country, please help me against this madman that wants my country. Please help me. That's what's happening right now. Yeah, it's sticking out like a raw thumb. Like I said, killing is not the answer. That's me. Killing is not the friggin' answer. Destroying hospitals is not the friggin' answer. Destroying schools is not the friggin' answer. Power plants is not the friggin' answer. Yeah? Sitting down and listening to Ukraine saying to you, look, you got Russia, that's your country. You look after Russia. Yeah? And we look after Ukraine. Because you don't own Ukraine. And that's with any other country. Any other country. America doesn't own blah, blah, blah. You know, yes, the British Empire used to own 3/4 of the globe. Yeah, I understand that. And they ruled with an iron rod. And they've learned from that. And, you know, just like America and Hong Kong, they gave it back. And Jamaica, they gave it back, the independence. Gave it back. And helping the country as well. There's some countries that don't like England. Don't like England. Hate England. But has England invaded their country because of that? No. If Russia had a deal with Ireland, because Ireland don't like England. Yeah, Ireland don't like England. If Russia had a deal with Ireland to have a nuclear weaponry on their land, staring at Great Britain, would Great Britain invade Ireland and bomb up Ireland? No. They'll sit down at a table and they will negotiate and do all sorts of things to say, please, look, we don't need this. But England will still respect what the deal is. To be fair, knowing England, they would have got together with France and everybody else and say, right, see what Russia's doing. Come on, let's go. It's time to bomb up Russia and let them know and put them in their place. I think that's what England would have done. And you know, Russia's already saying, you know, it would only take this weapon to wipe out all of UK. No, not Putin. Putin's right-hand person said that. They're on the borderline of getting assassinated if they carry like that. Yeah? Trust me, because now you're affecting my life. Straight up. I wish the Russian people was that you can clearly see who is opposing it and who's not opposing it. You can't clearly see that. Because of fear, because of they want to be invisible, they don't want to be noticed, they don't want to stand out. Because the response of you standing out and saying a word is very, very quick. It is really, really quick to them. So, like I said, they're being ruled with an iron fist. So I feel sorry for them in certain particular ways. It's like when there was war over in the Middle East, there was so much marching going on in England. So much marching. And there was a number of things that was destroyed. as well. You know, the civilians of the UK, they don't muck about. They was burning and bombing, burning, breaking things and all that kind of stuff to show the vent their anger of this is wrong. You know, you didn't get no knock. I didn't get no knock on my door or me getting beaten up and all this kind of stuff, because it's free will. And that's what makes the country brilliant and progress, that every individual has the right to say something. And I don't think that, even if you don't agree with what your country is doing, even if you want to say, hey, you know, the Queen is this, God rest her soul, or the new king is that, or the Prime Minister is this, we can freely say that. That's what makes us liberal. That makes our mindset say, wow, you know, we feel that, you know, the world is our oyster. I don't know how the Russian people feel when they really can't say how they feel. That is food for thoughts. It really is. I think for me, that's an overall, for me, is about the weapons it's the mindset of the adults, the older generation, the hierarchies that's running our planet, that have this dumb child kind of, dumb teenager mentality of, if I'm not getting that, then I'm not going to blow your shit up. And then I'm going to get it after. You know, America does the same thing. They just done that over with Dubai. Trump went over to, not Trump, Biden. He went over to Dubai and he told Dubai to make more barrels of oil so you can decrease the cost. You better do that. That's what he said. And Dubai said, nah. In fact, what we're going to do, we're going to reduce our barrel intake. So the cost is going to be even more higher in winter. No, Dubai said, no, it's their oil. They can do whatever they want. And that's and Biden went back, you know, and I think Biden's doing something to counteract what that is. And I can't remember what it is exactly, but he's doing something that is, oh, that's it. So Biden said, well, okay, you're not going to do that? Fine. Then I'm going to take all my soldiers from the Middle East. Yeah? So they're not going to protect your oil anymore. They're not going to protect all the tyrants that's trying to destroy Dubai and Arab nations. Yeah? So that's what you're thinking about doing. There's always a counteract. No one hasn't bombed up each other. Nobody hasn't, you know. They respect. All you can do is say, hey, yes, no, okay. That's the era that we live in now. Not, oh, well, if you're not going to do this, I'm going to bomb this up and I'm going to shoot your kids and I'm going to... What? That's like, seriously, if a civilian done that, you automatically go to prison. Surely. No? You have a house, someone's knocking at your next door neighbor. You know, you have your house, you design your house lovely. Your next house is not as nice, but it's nice. And he's gone into your house and he's jealous. And he's like, you know, I want this from your house, I want that from your house, I want that from your house. And it's like, what are you talking about? No. So he comes in your house and smashes up everything in your house because you said no. That's what I'm seeing regarding, as in my personal intake of what's going on right now. And like I said, I'm not experiencing in all this politics and everything else. I'm just seeing with an open heart. I'm seeing things that, you know, I love my God. I know what's good. I know what's evil. You know, I don't like to see children crying. I don't even like to see a child accidentally falling over and cutting themselves and they're crying. You know. So you imagine how they're feeling right now. So that's angry number one. Yeah. I don't like the fact that the mother feels somewhat hopeless because their man is at the front defending them and she doesn't know whether he's going to come back or not. I don't like the fact that they're hearing loud bomb sounds and seeing the effect of what's happening when cars are just driving by normally and just bang, shoom. What the man? We are far away from this. We evolved far away from this. I told you we've done amazing things outside of this planet. And we can do even more amazing things if we come together as a planet. Because this is what it is. We can't look at ourselves as an individual anymore. Because there are so many power countries that coming together, we can do a whole lot more than a singular country doing it themselves. So it's right if any country wants to join the EU or join the NATO and put in for that. I think what's Putin's scare is that once Ukraine does it and succeed in doing this, then other countries will follow. And then you're going to have this kind of borderline between NATO and Russia, where weapons are maybe pointing directly at Russia, which is not like what he doesn't like. Fine, there can be deals here. We can say, right, okay, we are going to join the NATO, we are going to join this and all that stuff, but we're not going to put no weapons in Ukraine. But if you think about throwing one more rocket to Ukraine, then all sorts of crazy weapons are going to hit Russia. Now, that's a treaty to sign. Also, and I know I would have put in, oh, right, you know what, Russia, you're going to pay me crap loads of money with all the things that you've destroyed. But I know the proud Ukrainians wouldn't even take 1 cent of Ukrainian money. Not 1 cent. You've seen it already. When I think that the last Russian president, he took the Russian loan instead of an EU loan. I don't know why he done that, but you know. But there is a way to do this without war, without killing people, without destroying one's towns and cities and trying to make that country obsolete to the outside world. Because that's what he wants. He wants there to be no communication with Ukraine. Why? So he can destroy Ukraine and put them into a submissive moment where they say, sorry, Russia, we'll give you back our country. But that's what he wants. He wants the country. It's not like, no. You know, from somebody that's saying, no, I don't want NATO. There's a lot of no's that he's putting adding onto that list. There's a plan that's happening. And like I said, he wants to bring back the USSR because he's regret breaking it up. There's certain countries that is around Russia that has no army. And he just walks right through. Not a problem. That is just disgusting. Because you haven't got an army, we're going to tread all over you. You're nobody. You're insignificant. There's no respect. There's no respect. I can see other countries respecting other countries. Even if they have differences, they're still respecting each other's country. They're still respecting where they're coming from. But that's art of negotiation. You know, you can't rule another country. Not in this day and age. You just can't. It's a relic. We have to move on. We have to evolve. We have to improve. I don't want to see none of this no more. I don't want to see none of this. Two grown men should be able to sit down at a table and say, hey, and vent their anger, vent their frustration, vent their what's his name. But at the same time, how can you vent your anger at somebody who doesn't really give two crap about you or your country, only about the resources and the minerals that it can provide to better their own country? It's not putting minerals, you're not digging up this and then making Ukraine better. This is using Ukraine as a manufacturing farm that can better resource their country. Is it a case that the minerals that they need to create more rockets and more weapons actually come from Ukraine and not Russia? Is that the case? So for him to build more weapons and all that stuff, he needs the minerals from Ukraine. Is that the case? I don't know. And also, if Ukraine's got so much minerals in their country, I think it's about time you start designing some serious ass weapons to defend yourself against these people. And you could be on the brink of it. And maybe that's what scares Putin. That when you are on the, successful he's thinking, all right, you know what? Why don't we invade Russia now? And you know, all the things that they've done to us, and rather than realizing that Ukrainian people are not like that. Yeah, they'll never love Russia anymore. They won't tamper with Russia no more. They're not going to waste their energy to say, Russia. They just want to get on with their lives and progress. Like everybody else in the world. I just don't understand this. I think I don't understand this because the heart and soul of this whole kind of argument hasn't really been revealed. Yeah, there's certain excuses why. Yeah, but the real source hasn't been revealed. So that's why I feel that everybody's opinion will be very much different. But I felt that I had to do this because, like I said, I saw this Asian guy and the title was Why I Support Russia. I thought, whoa! And I think it got something like 200,000 views. So that's all the Russian people supporting, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I checked it out. And it was like, bro, you're not making no freaking sense at all. You're not. There's no excuse in the world to kill another person. Okay, if that person kills your mother or your children, if you ain't got God in your heart and love in your heart, you're gonna turn to evil and want vengeance. If you got God in your heart and you love in your heart, you let God deal with that person when it comes to Judgment Day, because it will come. A mixture of what the media's doing as well. It's like you're possibly playing a strong part in it, but who's benefiting from you doing this media things? What are you really reporting? They can, when you know that they can report a lot more. I've seen it in music videos. I've seen the reality in the music videos, the artist that is showing you what's happening, the artist that's showing their face expressions, the artist showing you that child, the artist showing you that building's blown up. The artists right about now in Ukraine are doing much more televising what's going on in Ukraine than the media. Seriously. I haven't really seen any, I haven't put full stop, I haven't seen any any Russian artists supporting what's going on. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any Russian artist that is, you know, doing music of morale and showing you know, rockets hitting Ukraine and all that kind of stuff. I have not seen not one of them. I don't even know if they even exist. I haven't seen them. It's not about. But I think that will be salt rubbing into the wounds if there is anything like that. Because it's an attack. You'd be celebrating your attack. You know, Ukrainians are celebrating their defense. There's a massive difference. They're celebrating the defense, they're doing everything, you know? And I just wish that the world would say, oi, Putin, no! Sit down with the people that does that G8 convention and just put the finger up and say, look, stop now, yeah? Stop now. That's your warning. Because it seems to me that all Putin's doing is warning everybody else to keep out of it. Stay out of it. Stay out of it. Why carry on killing these people? Stay out of it. What? What the heck are you talking about? Stay out of it. If you see a man on the street fighting his woman, his wife, you break it up. 9 times out of 10, the wife will jump on your back and, you know, they're attacking you. But you break up because you know it's morally wrong. What we're seeing is morally wrong. We need to take action now to stop. It's not even a fight back or counterattack or that. It's just to stop it. And sit down at the table and say, right, Putin, no, you can't do this. And that's the whole G8 people, the world, the planet. Say, no, you can't do this. And you better stop right back now. And people will say, well, if you jump in, I'm going to do this nuclear. And the world will say, yeah. So what? You're going to fight us? Yeah, you sure? Putin, at any time, NATO and the rest of the world can turn and switch on you. Yeah? At any time, the Navy SEALs or SAS can come in and just take you out like they've done Bin Laden. They can do that if you carry on that same way. Because you're not only saying that mind your own business about Ukraine, or you're saying mind your own business about Ukraine, or else what? You're going to nuke the whole planet? Is that your intentions? Do you know how you sound? Don't you look down, when you look down in your own country and you see a Russian child coming to you, giving you flowers and all that kind of stuff, how do you feel? For me, it doesn't matter what country you're from. A child is still a freaking child. A baby is still a baby. A cry is still a cry. Pain is still pain. You can't think, oh, well, it's a Ukrainian baby, they're dead or child. But if it was, no. Murder is murder, a child is child, you know? No matter what country you're from. I don't like seeing children getting in pain, no matter what country you're from. Stop this now. Because it's going to get ugly, bro. It's going to get ugly. Yeah, if you were... I just wish there was a hierarchy that is as stubborn as you to jump into this. I wish that Trump was still in this. Because Trump warned you a number of times, don't do this. I've seen so many documentaries, trust me. Trump said to you, don't do this. Don't do this. And you've done it. Bro, how much time do you got left? You're going to do something so freaking stupid. I can feel it in my heart. You're going to do something so freaking stupid that we have to take you out. Because you are not willing to come to the table and say, right, yeah, vent your anger, vent your frustration, you know, make the world see the reason, you know, I don't want American bombs to be, it hasn't really been clearly printed out of what the reason why you're actually doing this. We are just seeing your effect of your doing this. We're saying, oh, because the EU, you don't want to join the EU, you don't want that country to join the EU. No, that's pathetic. That can't be it. That can't be it. There must be a hidden agenda that you are not expressing to the world of why. Because you know it'd be feeble. It's not your country. That is the full point of this whole thing. Nobody's not going over to Russia and saying, well, Russia, you better do this, and Russia, you better do that. Putin will look in your face and say, excuse me? You're telling me what now? I'm sorry, what? Nah, you ain't telling me that. Don't be stupid. Yeah? What country can actually go to Russia and tell Russia about their business? No. But we've evolved. It's time for the planet to get together. And anytime when one country is going to wipe out another country because of potentially what they think, because that's what is going on. He's going on potentially he's looking at the worst case scenario. If Ukraine joins NATO and EU, then they're going to get a bit ballsy and they want to attack Russia. Really? Or those weapons going to, you know, at any time America can fire those rockets at Russia. Why? Give me a reason. What reason? Don't get me wrong, you both got weapons that can travel to each side and blow up each other. You have. You got weapons on the outside of the satellite. Yeah, I've seen planes come that's hovering over Russia outside of the atmosphere, and you still detect it, and you're firing that weapon, even though you know you're not going to hit that weapon, hit the aircraft, because the aircraft was too fast. I saw the documentary, and they was laughing at the Russians trying to fire 2 rockets outside into the atmosphere because 2 planes was going over Russia. And the pilots were laughing because look, those weapons will never catch us. By the time, because they see where you are at the top, by the time they fire you on that target, that plane somewhere gone down that way. So they haven't got the technology anyway. They're just firing the old, weapons and all that stuff. But like I said, technology is moved so far, I thought our minds will be advanced as well. Where war, it will be a history, a relic. And conversations and getting down to, you know, building and constructing a better planet so we can go out and beyond the universe and find more planets, you know, and all that kind of stuff. We should not have any kind of conflict. I keep saying it again and again and again. And I'm blabbering on, but I just wanted to get this off to the reason why I support Ukraine. It's as simple as that. Thank you for this. Again, I need to get off my chest. I really did. Thank you for listening. Apologies for going on. Oh, wow, almost an hour. Wow. But I know there's going to be plenty of backlashes from everywhere. But this is my personal perspective. This is my personal feeling towards this. It really is. I'll at the end of this as well, I will leave all the links that various artists are doing in regarding supporting Ukraine. Various links from Instagram and Facebook as well. There is amazing artists doing amazing things, and yeah, I just would like to share those things out to you guys as well. But for now, I salute you.